Hello, Professor Bright here, and welcome back to the Sunless Sea, where things are going pretty well, I guess. I mean, we did manage to repair our hull, our fuel situation and hunger situation are pretty good, and our terror situation isn't even that bad, so we're going to be doing more exploration. But before we go too deep into exploring the Unterzee, which might also be called the Sundered Sea, again, still haven't gotten confirmation on that, so I'm going to kind of go with the Unterzee until I get a better name, or at least confirmation on a better name. Hi. How are you doing? So, what's up? Huh. Well, that thing's dead. So, like I was trying to say, we're going to be going to Khan's heart, because they have strategic information for me, or at least someone there will have strategic information for me. And I am right on target to get there. Ooh, actually, question. Well, I'm debating whether I want to transform here, but yeah, why not? Who knows what's underneath the Khanate? Could be something fun and interesting, or something terrible and deadly. Also, we still need to find wisdom. But that's for the future, not for now. Hello. What do we got here? What are you, current? Or source of a current? A Khanate submarine. Those sneaky bastards. I'm not going to fight it, though, because I assume if I kill that, the white and golds will be displeased. And I want to be on their good side, because I want to be able to trade in the Khanate. And eventually spy on them and subvert their government. But mostly trade. Now, if we could just go right on in, that'd be perfect. And dock. Lovely. Hello. Well, first of all, Khan's heart, London's rival. An oasis of light in the salt-black wastes, canals thread the painted city, street lamps glow and water taxis putter. But more interesting to me, a panicked wave, there's someone in the shadows trying to draw your attention with equal parts discretion and desperation. I mean, sure, why not? Well-intended questions. The impolite investigator shakes your hand with extreme vigor. Good day, Captain. When do we leave port? Can your ship outrun the Khanate's best? Not that you'll have to, but it'd be comforting to know that you could. Take his hint, he needs to escape, and you can get him away. I'll welcome myself aboard. Where's my bunk? He heads up to the plank before you. He continues talking, expecting you to keep up. The Khanatians didn't seem to like me asking questions. No, they tend to not. Not many people do. It's made me unpopular in most ports. But there's still one I haven't tried. Could you take me to Hideaway? It's beneath the waves on the back of a gigantic beast. You cannot miss it. Oh, that sounds like a fun place. Would love to go there, but first there is a little bit of business I need to take care of here, which is very likely to fail. Great, cool. Find your contact. The Khanate is wary of Imperial spies. Go very carefully. You have half the directions you need. The other should be at the dead drop on the docks, and it is not. Hurry on by. You find the address, and the street outside is thronged with white and gold uniforms. Load around the corner. There, two hard-faced men in no uniform, but their own authority, are directing operations. Their white-uniformed henchmen manhandle an unconscious body into a waiting boat. Your contact. Back to your ship. Quickly. Yes, quickly indeed. Bye! Going now. Going far away, but before we go too far away... Oh, right, I replaced him. There is one little matter. Our surgeon. Let's have a chat. Could increase our pages, and in fact I should do that now while I have him. Hello, my dear, my dear. Sit down carefully. Just let me tidy away these implements. We don't want any carelessness, do we? Increase your pages. Oh ho, we'd like to talk about secrets, would we? Secrets are my favorite. I mean, my pages is pretty abysmal, so yeah, let's go with that for a little bit. Personal attention. He likes to sit very close when he speaks. The plausible surgeon, he speaks familiarly of diseases and hauntings, as if he knew their first names, but chose not to disclose them out of courtesy and discretion. This makes some of the advice confusing, but you do learn intriguing details. Now I'm going to be doing that a few more times because I want to use this while we have him, because we must ask after his desires and ambitions. He's travelled much, seen all manner of wound and malady, but is there anything left for him to discover? Any places he wishes to go? The Khanate, you know it, they collect corpses. He shifts in his seat. Vast, noble, complicated corpses. What I could learn, what I could see. My dearest captain, if we ever find ourselves in the Khanate, I do hope you might see fit to release me from our arrangement. And I would be, but one minor detail. Kinda want some pages, because that makes everything simpler, well, at least in terms of earning additional secrets through fragments. Don't know what the actual equation is, and I'll just keep one secret just in case. Now, Khan's Shadow. A little ways to the east, because here's Khan's Heart, Khan's Shadow to the east. And yes, I could go to Khan's Glory, but I mean, there's no point in doing that, because I don't really have any... Yeah, I do have some coffee, but it's not enough, you see. Also, interesting, we could... We can use prisoners for something. Deal with the prisoner. Have they suffered enough? No. Could consume the prisoner. I might end up doing that eventually. But, no. I mean, I would never eat my crew. I've never done that. I've not survived off the corpses of my crew. Why would you say that? Well, anyway. Long ago, the Khanate turned its back on its warrior traditions. It has no place for pirates and would-be nomads. So here, in the shadow, the exiles make their home amid 100 wrecked, grounded, decommissioned ships. Approach the man staring at you. His gaze is rather intense. What does he want? Oh my, yes, this seems very safe and, not at all familiar. The severe chemist glares at you over his glasses. Beneath the Z, Captain, there's a city of murderers. Within it, a plant known as tether. Bring me a jarful and I will pay you handsomely. Sure, why not? He smiles in the manner of a corpse whose skin has just dried out. Excellent, you'll find it in Rak, City of Pleasures. Yeah, something like that. I'll be waiting for you in the Unterzee where my studies continue. Interesting. So, they're gonna be... I wonder how hard it's gonna be to get tether from Rak. We'll find out. For now, compile our port reports. So many malcontents, so little time. Closely written notes. Conniving, debauching, speechifying, drinking, singing, speeching, and poeting. Now and then a drunken duel. Very occasionally a savage ritual murder. Oh, Khan's Shadow. Never change. Also, do you have anything I would want from you? Not really. Alright, moving along. So we got a few more things that we could do. A few more tasks that we want to worry about. And something something underwater, some distance to the south. You know what that means. What have we got? What? Okay, one, I didn't know I had achievements activated again. Two, what? The impolite investigator approaches you, smiling. Now we're safely submerged. I have a question, Captain. I've discovered that several crew members are attracted to you. Would you become intimate with any? If so, who? How would you engage, and why haven't you indulged yet? I kind of want to do this. Isn't he just delicious? Oh, dear me. I mean, keel-hauling him is an option, but I'm going to respond with a secretive smile. It's what I would do. Let him draw his own conclusions. Raising questions, the investigator nods. That tells me everything I need. I know where to make follow-up inquiries. But before I go, I'd like some specifics. I already have some theories about your predilections, which confirm some of the details. Bit nosy fellow. And oh my, you must be... What the hell are you? Scrimshander. Wait, is this related to the... Wait, whoa, hold up. Pause. I think this is the backplate of the turtle that the Khanate... Oh, you are potentially very interesting to me. Please stop hitting the... Please, just... Stop hitting the dock, thank you. Anyway, Scrimshander. At least I assume that's how you're pronouncing it. It's how I'm going to pronounce it. Before you looms the bone tower of Scrimshander, the city of remembrance. Ivory structures jut from the pile, supported by buttressing tusks. As your light plays across them, you can make out inscriptions, names, pictures, and dozens of lost languages. The largest ones carry a warning. All are welcome to enter, but none may depart without leaving something of themselves behind. I mean... Accept the price and dock. A drownie floats before the docking gate of a bone cathedral. She wears a cowl and carries a ceremonial key carved from a femur. At your approach, she sings a solemn greeting. Soldier, scholar, servant of art, history welcomes without toll. But be warned, ere you depart, none who enter escape whole. Yeah, but I mean... Maybe I have to sacrifice a few people, it's fine. It happens. A cowed crew, the Guardian unlocks the ivory gates. Steel glints in her fingers as she carves an image of your ship into her massive bone key. Your brave crew decides to remain on the ship as you disembark for the tower's dry center. Can't say you blame them. You walk down a damp nave of bone, intricately carved ivory walls depicting improbable scenes from history. The walls are edged in tiny finger bones, each bearing a single name. Oh my god, they're going to take my fingers. Inhabitants wear ashen robes and carry steel-tipped bone quills, but you recognize most as drownies or Khanate expatriates. While most are quiet and ignore visitors, you hear heated arguments over interpretations of the sacred remains. Sacred remains which will include whatever you leave behind when you depart. Yep, they're going to take my fingers. Fuck. Okay, it's fine. It's you know what? It's fine. It's all good. Breathe in and breathe out. Take note of a veiled woman. A middle-aged woman in a veiled hat is staring at you, waiting for you to notice and listen to her. Sure, why not? The imperious sister's tale. She pushes a sheaf of papers into an oversized case and bustles towards you. I've been all over Scrimshander and I can find no sign of my brother's writing or any inscription about him, she says. Which is strange, because I was most definitely assured he had come here. Meanwhile, I made certain promises of a pecuniary nature, which mean that I am not at liberty to leave Scrimshander again for a few days. So I turn to you. Could you assist me? Are your services for hire? It's a matter of family loyalty, of the ties of blood. What do you mean you're not at liberty to leave for a few days? What are you giving up? Well, we listen to her. The woman is no longer exactly youthful, but she speaks passionately from under her veil. Perhaps she has studied heroines on the stage. I need help to be reconciled with my dear brother. Listen to what she wants. She's very urgent to speak with you. She has a brother who is very dear to her, a sensitive soul, very reserved. He used to work for the Admiralty. Something happened to distress him there. When I asked him about it, he said that I had enough to worry about with my own concerns. My husband was ill at the time, but I could help him if he would only permit me to know his troubles. For you know, she puts a hand on her heart, bearing one another's burdens is what makes us truly good. She tells you that you'll need to go to Igel, the city of regrets, find her brother's regret, and return it to her. She'll pay, gladly. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be returning here if they take my fingers. Compile a port report. Consider it an ongoing history of the present. Few visitors, fewer departures. The inhabitants of Scrimshander spend much of their time preying on the mysteries of the past. They spend almost as much time arguing about their interpretations. Salted residents often collect nearby salvage, studying the results and inscribing their interpretations on any skeletal remains. But those who leave are too often easily recognized by what they have left behind in their travels, memories, personalities, and bones. Oh. Interesting. Otherwise, they rarely consider the present, certainly not with the same focus they give to the histories buried within their tower. Recent world events are met with polite silence, unless it prompts an anecdote about similarities with antiquity. Apart from old grudges and new theories, very little changes here. So these are historians, living in what I am almost positive is the back plate or the stomach plate of the giant turtle, which the Khanate exists on, which is a very weird... Look, you guys will see it. Don't worry about it. We'll assist an ancient chronicler. A bandaged monk sits, attempting to carve a tail with a steel-tipped quill. This is not work for a trembling hand. Chancy, but I mean 55%, why not? A day dictated. The monk describes a day in the life of a tomb colonist. While you wield the quill, its nib carves the bone easily as if it were mushroom flesh. The tale is dry, but he insists it be recorded for posterity. Few tomb colonists come to share their tales, a historical blind spot he laments at length. When the work is finished, he invites you to see further tales in the ivory archives as his guest. Time in the archives. Ooh, the ivory archives are jealously guarded. Like most of the figures in their archives, anyone overstaying their welcome is likely to meet a grisly end. I mean... Pity can't delve into the ivory archives, or at least should not. It's not yet. Gather at the stage of history. Scholars file quietly into a pair of great ivory doors at the far end of the hallway. When they stumble out again, you can hear raised voices, arguments, and laughter. To the amphitheater. After the reverent silence of the outside, the boisterous noise of the amphitheater washes over you like the heavy sea beyond these walls. The stage of history. Actors strut in an amphitheater of bone, performing historical plays of dubious veracity. An audience watches from below, with each roaring, drunk member applauding or jeering different details of the work. Above, an imperious figure wearing a crown of ivory judges each performance from a raised theater box. All are served by a single man, weaving between the crowd and wearing a perpetual smirk. Options. Oh. Could trade coffee for time in the archives? Or wine. I should be able to do that, didn't I get... No, I got supplies, right. Never mind. Agree to search the archives for a hero. Or a pattern. Worry about that later. Talk with the glib historian. The mushroom wine he serves is stale. The plays he announces are questionable at best, but the impeccably bearded man with the olive skin laughs at every performance and has a smile for every patron. Warring theories on the stage of history. Some cheer history as the work of brave and inspired heroes, especially them who wish they could be heroes themselves. The glib historian rolls his eyes. Others say it's all shaped by cyclical changes in scientific progress, economics and such. But nothing gets in the way of a good story quite like nuance. He spits out the word like a rotten grape. We let him argue up on the stage and give an ivory crown to whoever is most convincing at the moment. He waves a hand at the temporary monarch in the raised seat above. As far as I'm concerned, he confides, filling a patron's mug with cheap wine, history is what you make of it, and I make a killing. You learned enough about history to distrust any one person's interpretation. Don't say history as if there's merely one of them. A fair point. Could watch a fierce debate and it wouldn't actually do too much. Yeah, why not? Watch a fierce debate. Two monks propose new historical interpretations based on research in the archives. Weapons are strictly prohibited. Confusion reigns. The arguments range from impassioned to inscrutable, and the jeers of the crowd don't help. The winner is selected by the monks throwing knuckle bones at their choice. The winner receives the ivory crown and ascends to the ruler's seat. Your enjoyment of the ceremony is diminished somewhat when you find an errant knuckle bone in your mug. That'll do it. That would certainly do it. I will trade coffee for time in the archives. They sound fascinating. Even the most avid scholar knows not all historical tales are exciting. The fuel of history, the guardians of the archives can barely contain their greed. While theories differ on what drives history, it is agreed that historians themselves are driven by coffee. Yeah, I'm going to do that a bit. And by a bit, I mean I'm going to give them 10. Well, I'm not going to give them 10 sacks. I'm going to give myself 10 time in the archives. And me, I don't know. Heroes or patterns? I'm personally more pattern sort of person. I think individual heroes aren't as important as the grand pattern that history displays. I did not explain that very well, but you know what? We're going with it. The drowny chorus sits dejectedly in the corner, griping about the hero worship on display. They'll pay well if you can research the societal context to the figures on the stage. The quest for context. Heroes are merely the products of their time. These fools celebrate a pearl and ignore the oyster that made it. Help us tell a more responsible tale and we put things right. For now, at least. So, leave the amphitheater and delve into the Ivory Archives. The Ivory Archives are a wealth of history, with ages of visitors' stories carved into the bone pillars that build the citadel. It's something between a library and an ossuary, but less inviting. Downwards into history. The monks grudgingly allow you to enter, but warn you that staying longer than your allotted time will incur significant penalties. They refrain from going into details, but you notice that their bone quills are significantly larger and sharper than their fellows. I wonder how dead I'd be if I stayed too long. Something to think about. Searching the Ivory Archives, narrow passages wind through the old city, shadowed, ever descending. You walk alone except for the constant remains of those who came before you, each bearing their sad small tales. They all end the same way, they all end here. Will you? Continue downwards, the tales of the dead surround you, each step buries you deeper in the past. Downwards, into history, what came before now, what terrors of yesterday led to today. Delving into the past increased, and flesh fails. That doesn't sound good. What have you discovered? What have you uncovered? Everyone knows that city and its people were completely destroyed. Everyone except the authors of these records, apparently. Oh. So much for the old theories. It seems that disaster wasn't so natural after all. Devils were less fond of subtlety back then. So it's not about one of the cities that got dragged down to where Fallen London is now. At least I don't think it is. Might be I'm wrong. Didn't give me much details to work with. We continue downwards, the tales of the dead surround you, each step buries you deeper in the past. And love dies. A bone quake. A shower of bone dust falls from above, then a trickle of water. Suddenly the bones supporting this passage crumble before you. Run. Shit? Buried alive, briefly. Shards and skulls press in on all sides. Only a burst of desperate strength saves you from the worst of it. But you may never forget the skull that was almost your final vision. Its inscription bragged of a peaceful death. Rarely have you so envied a skeleton. I mean, I've got to. Continue downwards, the tales of the dead surround you, etc. Love dies again. Unearth a portrait of a time. Travelers of all eras from across the Neath have been brought here to rust. Perhaps something can be synthesized from their collections. Rituals of love. It was said that a flower in the Zee grew within the Zee, one that any true lover would pluck for their beloved. If nothing else, it was a proof of bravery, devotion, and diving talent, all conventionally attractive qualities. Many dived, most died, but a few found the flower and found that it was not what they expected. It was beautiful beyond their imaginings. And though a pretty, poetic conceit had sent them below, it was not enough to bring them back up. They abandoned their old lovers in death or for beauty. Interesting. Now the thing is, I do have more time, but not much. You know what? Best not to press it. I don't really trust the, I suppose I'll call them librarians, to not kill me. Search for the exit. Which way did you come from again? This deep you don't recognize the languages, but the stories are still familiar. I lost delving into the past? I guess that makes sense. The bones are fresher, the tales more recent. Leave the past behind. Empires crumble. Still yourself before a dread visage. History's horrors are too numerous to count, especially when the results are so difficult to face directly. An unflinching examination. You've seen worse, you've had worse done to you. In fact, you've probably done worse to others, but only to those that deserved it. Of course. Leave the archives, you're not too far gone yet. You can still escape, like these poor souls. Back among the living, or at least the most recent remains. Oh, so that was actually much quicker. I have plenty of time. I could have dived quicker. Or dived quicker, really? No, dived deeper. Oh well, we will leave Scrimshonder. No one departs without leaving something of themselves behind. Be ready. Departing, were there quite this many guards when you came in? Was there always a pile of fresh bones by the entrance? I mean... Oh, dear, I could lose a finger. So, yeah, while I could do that, I have other options. No one may depart Scrimshanda without leaving something of themselves behind by which to be remembered. Tradition demands it, as do the muscular guards at the gate. Their sharpened bone quills are at the ready to collect your donation. Provide transport for a scholar. A bandaged scholar stands near the exit, angrily brushing ash off of himself. At your approach, he brusquely demands passage to Hideaway. Of course he'll pay. In search of history's losers. He studied remains of 100 wars and read 1,000 bitter ends. Now he seeks the survivors so he can interview them in person. He assures you it's a purely academic interest. His life has been splendid, personally. He merely wishes to see how they live with themselves. Interesting. Unfortunately that didn't let me just... Oh well. Tell you what, though. Leave behind a past triumph. It was dearly earned, only fair that it be dearly spent. Some other hero's tale. The guards light incense and clean the trophy with a musky oil. As you recount the victory that won it, a chronicler etches your words into its surface. The scratching of the bone quill grows louder in your ears with every word. By the time you finish, your trophy has been replaced with an identical copy. This one has been inscribed with a thrilling fictional tale. As you depart, you wonder if you would recognize the hero of such a thrilling yarn. Interesting place. Very, very interesting. Although now we have very many reasons to go and find Hideaway. Something to consider. I do hope this little easterly one is Hideaway, but that'll have to wait. For now, thank you for your time. Note the like, comment, and subscribe buttons below. Use them responsibly, and I shall see you all soon.